regional, international, spiritual issues too. Agricultural, environmental, and trending to subject matter. We fear none, we back down. Freedom of speech is enshrined in the land. God, we freedom, jealous and they in Cuba. Russians and Chinese and lucky like we. Right now, North Korea wish they had it too. Most of the Caribbean lucky like we. Studio Galaxy Day for you and me. Galaxy Equalizer ready like Freddy. And Studio Galaxy 473 in Canfero. We freedom of speech is sacrosanct. Make use of it. Let no one challenge. Blow your shell, beat your drum, tell others. Like and share, subscribe and discuss it too. Let the world know Studio Galaxy is around. Galaxy in Confero, hope you know. 473 standing strong is yours, you know. The media.
Welcome back again. Welcome to our program on the Studio Galaxy 473. This is the second part of our program, and this one is just pure politics. And this time we have our brother Joshua with us, this time on the political program. It's the first time, and we highly appreciate it. And the topic we're going to speak about is the consequences of our love-hate relationship with the United States of America. You know, yes, the number to call is 536-2558. It's a very short time we have on that topic, and you might find we're just brushing across. And we always say we provoke discussion. United States of America is an imperial power. An old man once said to me, we in the Caribbean islands is like a sheep in a pen with a big bear. He described the United States as a bear. And every time the bear watch you, you want to see you good, so you must be smiling. Mm-hmm. You could vex behind your back. Otherwise, he might just slap you, in a little jokey way. Mm-hmm. But a bear is powerful and you're a little sheep. Mm-hmm. So we in the Caribbean, particularly Grenada, and now I'm zeroing on Grenada, but you will be hearing me making reference point to the rest of the world. We have to recognize that the United States of America is an imperial power. We have NATO and Europe riding on the same vehicle with the United States. That is a gang. That is an imperial gang. Then we have Russia, another imperial gang. Mm-hmm. And then we have China and other countries. So on a lot of occasions, we, these small countries, end up like pawns in the game. And the Caribbean could be described as a pawn in the game of the imperial power. Mm-hmm. We have to be careful. Our foreign affairs, our leadership have to be careful with the language they use, because the followers of the leaders tend to be more harsh than the leaders. Mm-hmm. So if the leaders are harsh and untactful, the followers are also harsh and untactful. Mm-hmm. And I'm glad my brother Joshua is here with me, because where I have not left much the soil of Grenada, Joshua has been around and may just see it from a different perspective.
Yeah, I see it from a slightly different perspective, but not that different, to be quite honest with you. I think the basic thing that operates in the world is that countries want to have advantages over other countries, and I think America, in terms of that love-hate relationship, it has to be understood in that context. For many Grenadians, America was the dream, the promised land, where they could make something of themselves, bring their family, and live a good life. They may love Grenada, and they may have Grenada in their head, like people like my father and his friends are, but life in America was so easy for them in many ways and so hard for them in many ways. But at the same time, it America kept them in America because they weren't struggling for food, for clothing, for shelter, etc. So America was the loveliest place on earth, and America, unlike many other countries, certainly Britain, you can become an American, once you get your citizenship and you can wave the flag and all those things. But places like Britain, it was very hard to be English or British, etc. To be English, you had to have a white color skin, and more or less you have to be born in Britain. So when second generation black Britons were growing up, even though they were born there, they were still kind of not considered real Britons or real English. So very different. So America tended to be a little bit more inclusive, even though you had the hostilities in the South and tremendous kind of things was happening in the South for Grenadians, but they tended to stay, in New York and Florida, Washington, those kinds of places. So the relationship was lovely.
I like what you just said, the word that you use, America.
Yeah.
When individuals go to the United States of America, there was no hope they could come back in Grenada and live. When a man went to England, France, Canada, you expect him to make a money, to buy a piece of land, and come back home.
Yeah.
Sometimes it never worked out because of economics and all the other socio-cultural factors.
Yeah.
But the reality was that man did not go to England or France permanently. He wanted to come back home.
Yes, very much so. And even people from India. I remember watching an Indian cry in England because, his brother had died and had to be buried, and he couldn't go back to India to attend the funeral. So there's some very painful stories, but I want to tell the second half of my story. Now, the love-hate relationship. After the Second World War, we had a division, so-called, of the world. The Europeans and North Americans always like to use the world as though everybody's involved, but so they consider themselves to be the world, even though they're just like maybe about 10% of the world population. So they divided Europe and the world. So you are either with us as Americans or you're against us. So you had the Russian situation and the Eastern Bloc situation going on. So people like Grenada, we're supposed to be non-aligned countries, I believe. And
again, non-aligned was set up by the Communist bloc.
Yeah.
The Caribbean countries who was aligned to the communist countries say they're non-aligned.
Yeah, okay. So America believed the Caribbean countries were in its backyard.
In its backyard.
And then there's something they talk about called the...
Yes, we have a color. We're taking that color.
The Monroe Doctrine.
Yes, color, welcome.
Yes, good morning, Doc.
Yes, my brother.
And good morning to the real Doc.
Yeah.
Right, everybody, how's everybody?
Great.
Yeah, we're good. We're good. We're good.
Have a good every day. Always good always good conversation. I am struggling with an issue, and I want you chap to help me. It has to do with the United Nations. I've been pondering that for many, many years because I believe the United Nations is irrelevant and we should not be part of the United Nations. This is what had been happening, what is happening, what had been happening over the years. And I want to ask, what is the United Nations? Who is the United Nations? What are the rules? What are the responsible for and who are they responsible to? I'm asking these questions. But because you see, sir, I'm paying attention to the tariff and the sanctions. The sanctions by America. Another country who might want to follow the lead of America to impose sanctions. To me, sanction is war. Sanction is a declaration of war, and to me, it is inhumane. It is criminal. How do the United Nations sit on that as a world body representing nations and allow a country or countries to impose economic sanctions on others, which will affect the entire citizenry of the country? And we as members, representatives of countries in the United Nations, sit and say nothing because we believe we are powerless. Then why are we there? And I want to call on the United Nations to declare sanctions, economic sanctions, and these sanctions criminal, illegal, and should be null and void. And any country's practices should be brought to a court of law, either be imprisoned and fined large fines. I'm proposing this to this station because to me, enough is enough. And too much innocent people are suffering through wicked leaders. That should never happen. And we have to work for the abolition of that. Just as we fought for the abolition of slavery, we have to fight tooth and nail that the nation work on this thing urgently with a view to causing it to cease with immediate effect. I want to convey this to your station, sir.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
We welcome your views. United Nations, League of Nations, United Nations started after World War I, World War II. And it has, while we may not satisfy with how effective it has assisted in preventing quite a lot of war and settling dispute. And I like to say sanction is a declaration of war. Because some countries would have done something and maybe say, instead of we going and bomb them up, let's put sanction on them. So sanction is a means of punishing a country for things that person might have done. As sanction have been placed against Russia for invading Ukraine. And who doesn't remember either in 1990 or when Russia agreed with Britain and America, Ukraine agreed to give back Russia the nuclear weapon that they have. And Russia, Britain and America agreed to protect Ukraine. If Ukraine had kept the nuclear weapon, Russia would not have invaded Ukraine today. But they were concerned that of the proliferation of nuclear weapon. And a small country like Ukraine to have nuclear weapon after they got the independence from Russia. So Ukraine agreed to give back Russia the nuclear weapon and Britain and America side. So Russia invading Ukraine, Britain and America have a responsibility to protect her. People might see that from one perspective. Now, the United Nations may not be as functional as we want it to be, just as CARICOM, but it's very important. And we must try to see how it could be strengthened. But getting rid of it means all man for themselves. And it means that when Bush decided to work with the willing, the United Nations and other countries objected. And these countries still pay attention to what the others believe. So we can. But Joshua, United States of America is the most cosmopolitan country in the world. United States of America is the most welcoming country in the world to immigrants. United States of America is the imperial power where any race of people, once they're born in America, could be the president of the United States.
Yeah. And just let me kind of touch on the subject, the United Nations, just briefly, to what the gentleman said. The problem that we have with the United Nations and the problem that's going on is the unfairness many countries feels in terms of the application of the rules and law. We are supposed to be a rules-based society, but what many people, many countries believe is that the rules are not applied fairly. So, for example, America has invaded most of Central American countries. It's organized many CIA coup d'etat. Many believe, many strongly have evidence to show that the government of Ukraine, which was neutral, was toppled by a CIA coup. And the whole issue in terms of Ukraine has been manufactured. Now, if you also look at the Security Council in the United Nations, there are, I think, 5 countries that has veto power, and they tend to be American and the Europeans. China has veto power. But the problem that exists at the moment is that many people believe, many countries believe that these institutions serve the United States and do not serve the world. So there's a lack of confidence in terms of this institution, and it was made worse recently by what was happening in Gaza. Women, children, babies being killed. So there is a lack of confidence in terms of these international institutions, and it's been mainly led by the United States, this lack of confidence, like the World Trade Organization, etc. But getting back to the United States, the United States shows in many ways the spirit of humankind, what they're capable of doing in terms of good. America has been the superpower in the world and the leader of the world, and many people believe that the problem that has arisen now with China is because China is a success as a country. China managed to take out 80 million people out of poverty in about 40 years, and it's been a tremendous success. Its economy is booming and growing. It gives assistance to the country without interfering with the internal politics. So, that has become a problem to the United States, because the United States went on to adopt a policy that is defeating it now. America believed that it was the right thing to do in the 60s, 70s, 80s to export manufacturing to third world countries, so-called, or developing countries, because it was so much cheaper. They would focus on finance and the service industry, etc. And they didn't want to do it. These are low-paying jobs. Now, all the kind of universities were preaching that this is the way you do business now. You know, you get the factory in Indonesia to make the dolls or whatever, or the clothes. Now, China became so good at industrialization and production, you know, and with 1.4 billion people compared to about 360 million, there's no competition. So once that emergence of China started to take place with technology, with production, etc., people start to see, well, this is going to be the next superpower. And America wants to lead the world. And many people believe, America believe it has a right to lead the world. And America then, well, not America, President Trump started this theory that these people are taking American manufacturing jobs, etc. But those people never asked for American company to send their jobs abroad. Far from it. You know, America exported the manufacturing base. China's you know, seem to be able to innovate, create, and manufacture cars like nothing. You know, half the cost of American cars. This is what, you know, capitalism is all about, you know, using your resources, doing better, cheaper, etc. This is what America believes in. Now, it so happens that China is able to do it better than America, and that is a big problem.
And the simple question Donald Trump might be asking is why? Because when we speak, we leave out the why.
Yeah, well,
China do not have freedom of the trade union. So the workers in China could work for pittance and they have no choice.
Yeah, but
whereas the Americans, you have workers' rights and you have freedom of the trade unions, and they don't have, China don't have the restrictions that the American worker would have.
Yeah, but President Trump don't believe in unions.
No, you can't say he don't believe in unions.
He's a union buster.
The fact remains is the United States have active dynamic union. The United States have freedom of the press. Even Donald Trump is heavily criticizing the United States. You can criticize Xi Jinping, you go in jail. You can Xi Jinping. You cannot criticize them in Cuba. You going in jail.
Mr. P, are you sure? Because
Are you going to ask me if I show?
Yeah,
how many
Cubans? Let me give you.
I like how you say if I show. How many Cubans are in jail still?
Yeah, let me give
without charge, trial, or opportunity to defend themselves.
Yeah, let me give you the different side. The amount of people who were imprisoned in America recently for expressing their views at the university is tremendous. It's the biggest outrage.
We have to be careful. You see, we cannot speak and do face the reality. We speaking and ask the question, why is it Americans now are saying, well, you must be able to produce jobs cheaper than me? Because I have strong trade unions in my country. People have a right to speak. People have a right to the holidays and the maternity leave and the paternity leave and the long, and you don't have that in your country. So you must be able to have labor cheaper. And you could put, prevent my goods from selling in your country because you say I have all sorts of excuse you're making to buy American goods. But I buy your goods. So Donald Trump come out and say, well, I'm putting tax on you. When Donald Trump put tax, your goods become more expensive in America.
So, Mr. Pierre, for example, let's look at Bangladesh, not China. Bangladesh is one of the biggest fabric producer in the world. They just did an agreement with one of the African countries. A lot of people talk about Traore, to produce cotton. Now, Bangladesh is probably the lowest cost in terms of production in the world currently. Now, they don't have any restrictions in terms of unions and any
You don't have what?
restrictions in terms
Bangladesh?
of.
What happened to you?
Yeah. So and
What happened to you?
yeah.
Crazy.
And
They
they
have the sweatshop.
but
They lock doors. There's a fire in Bangladesh. The doors are being locked.
yeah.
So
So
the workers come.
yeah, there may be incidents.
Maybe incident.
yeah, there may be incidents.
Why you think we call them the sweatshops?
You know, of
In the trade union language, we call them the sweatshops.
yes, but these are people that are not coerced to go and work in places or work in prison. You know, because the point you were making is that China is some kind of cohesive, not cohesive, coercive society that
I didn't
forces.
say that directly, but it's a fact. China jail huge of people. Falun Gong they against some religious group.
Yeah.
China is not. China don't have the kind of freedom of. People don't have the kind of freedom in China as in the United States of America. Neither the workers don't have the freedom of trade union representation. Just as how Cuba, you don't have the freedom of trade union representation in Cuba as we in Grenada here.
Yeah. And
That faces realities.
yeah, but there are differences, and you could easily argue that China does not have the system of slavery that America had, and
That America had. You mean you want to go there?
yeah, but many people
You
still.
mean you want to go there?
Yeah, many people still believe that in America it's a country where certain groups have privileges and other groups don't have privileges, and there's access to some group but not access.
United States of America is the most cosmopolitan country in the world.
Agreed.
They support people.
Yeah,
United States of America is the country that almost everybody in the world want to go in. Whether you're coming from China, India, Russia, or Grenada, people want to go in America.
Yeah, but let's.
And America practically keep you in America.
Yeah, let's talk about the love hate, because I think I did the love bit, but I haven't really got.
Let's zero in on Grenada now.
Yeah.
Grenada, we arguing, have a very strong love-hate relationship with America.
Yeah,
And we have to prepare to accept the consequences.
yeah. So what has caused the hate, though?
Well,
why are some people
again,
hateful of America?
United
There
States,
are good reasons.
of course, people always have good reason to hate.
Yeah. Well,
People always have good reason to hate.
different views. Well,
The British enslaved Grenada. The French enslaved Grenada. The American don't enslave Grenada. But we hate the American more than the British.
yeah.
We hate the Americans more than the British.
But you remember we had an invasion, and many people would agree and would say America invasion is Liberation Day. But there are many people who.
Well, you call it invasion, I call it rescue.
Yeah, so many people call it invasion. Many people will call it rescue and restoration of democracy in Grenada, because the view was, in terms of the American hierarchy, was that if you allowed one Caribbean island to fall to communism, you will have what they call the domino effect, where all the rest of the Caribbean will fall to communism. And it was believed that communism cannot have a place in the Caribbean, because
Well, of course.
the Caribbean belonged to America according to the Monroe Doctrine. But having said that, in terms of the American position, I think what has happened and what is in many people's mind. So this is the order of the world. But we as a Caribbean island, Grenada in particular, how are we going to develop? How are we going to get technology transfer? How are we going to develop as a country? How are we going to educate our people? It seemed to one set of people that Grenada has been parked in the Caribbean. And its role was not to raise its head, keep quiet, and just continue the old colonial system.
When we make those statements, we just I think we just zeroing back. Grenada has not been permitted to raise the head. What do we mean by that?
Well,
When did we raise our head?
yeah, so let me tell you what we mean by that. What is meant by Grenada is not allowed to raise its head is that the Grenadian society, in terms of its economic base, is still very much a supply economy to Britain.
So who preventing us from raising our head?
It tends to be the transfer of technology in terms of America is probably one of the most advanced technological society in the world prior to China. Now, what is
Who preventing Grenada
yeah.
from raising the head?
Yeah. So what is expected if Grenada belongs to you and it's in your backyard? It's expected that you would lift Grenada up by giving them a leg up or a hand up, as they say.
Well,
and to do that, you have to have technology transfer, and you have to have a manufacturing base in your country if you're going to develop as a country.
and I believe this is a very important issue, and we mustn't be afraid because of this issue. That is my challenge here. Sometimes we're afraid to discuss the issue. The Grenadians, if the Grenadians prefer to go to America than perhaps any other country in the world, they will end up in Britain and France. But if they have a choice to live in a country, I believe that they choose in America.
I think many people will agree with you. I mean, many people from Britain and
In
Europe
addition to that,
go to America to live.
In addition to that, United States of America have more Grenadians than perhaps any other country in the world.
Yeah, I think at one time I heard there was over 300,000 in America and only 100,000 in Grenada.
So our political leaders have to understand our main export go to America and Europe. Our people is in America and Europe. Our people want to go in America and Europe. But it seems that many of our leaders have a different political agenda when they are successful. So let us say 1979, 1983. And I believe that is when the real line of demarcation start to get brightened, where the love-hate relationship comes about.
Yeah, I think
because we have had the experiment with communism, Marxist-Leninism. And we were very vocal. CIA agent want to turn back the revolution in America. And even when you had an internal party scoop and they kill one another, they blame the CIA. They didn't take no blame for it. But the political leaders did not go to the countries they was promoting. That must have been a paradox. Why did all the political leaders, all of them, only about 3 of us are staying Grenada, all of them go to the European countries? They go to America,
Canada,
they go to Canada, and they go to England.
Yeah.
Some of them cry when the Americans did not give them a visa. Imagine you was a hardline Marxist communist jailing people, castrating people in Grenada, and you shed tears because the American didn't give you a visa to go in America. That have to be a love-hate relationship.
Well, I think it's a very complex relationship, and it's a very destructive relationship, really. And I think it continues today.
And that is what is frightening.
Yeah, because I think what should happen today is that we should be looking inwards. How can we develop our country? How can we develop ourselves? How can we have relationships with America? How can we have relationship with Britain that is mutually beneficial to Grenada? And I think that's the way we have to go. I think bad things has happened in the past, and bad things continue to happen.
And bad things will happen in the future.
Yeah, unbeknown to us.
If we refuse
yeah,
to discuss this issue.
yeah, and
We are not. What are the goods we're likely to export to China, Russia, Iran, or Africa in the next 5 years?
yeah,
I'm not saying tomorrow.
Yeah.
But we don't have nothing to do
yeah,
in the next 5 years.
and that's very interesting because I'm a little excited by the potential of opening trade route with Africa and different countries.
Well, not you alone are excited. Gavi was excited too.
yeah,
Why think Marcus Garvey in his writing speak about a black crowning of a black god, a black king?
yeah.
So when Rastafari, Tafari, or what get crowning, Rasta, yes, Marcus Garvey back then.
Yeah.
So we always are excited about Africa. And this is the third meeting they're having. Some Grenadian
I
think
think
it's
it's the fourth.
Right, third or fourth. Some Grenadian think it's the fourth.
Yeah. But I look forward to traveling Africa without a visa.
Well, you've been in Africa already. Well, I ain't going in Africa. I don't even want to go in America. I don't have a visa and I don't have a passport ticket.
yeah.
So the question is, what are the goods that we are likely to export to Russia, China, and Africa in the next 5 years?
yeah.
Because we have nothing to export to them. We don't even have people. So if a jet come,
People used to be our biggest exports.
if a jet come to go in Africa free, and a jet fall to go in America free,
yeah.
the jet for America will be overfull.
Yeah. You see, in societies, it's always a struggle, and people always think a society is a monolithic thing. Everybody believes the same. But in Britain, it's a struggle of people believing different things. In America, it's the
In
same
Grenada,
thing. In Grenada,
we have one among the con men
oh,
and hypocrite individual talking against America, but they want to go to America.
yeah, I've seen.
After the collapse of the experiment with the revolution, and I know some of those heavyweights. Come on, you want to overthrow the country. Come on, you want to turn back the revolution. Come on, you want to sabotage.
Yeah.
All of them that could have get the chance went to America, Canada, and England.
Yeah, and I've seen that.
Some of them still in America,
Yeah,
playing hardline communists in America.
but
And they're only waiting for the sleeper cells here to wake up
yeah, but
to start with this garbage again.
remember, in America, you have people like Bernie Sanders who are,
Left wing.
confessed socialists who wants to have
Destroy America.
who want to have a different approach
They want abortion.
America.
They want to destroy America.
They want universal health care.
Well, the individuals in Grenada here who pushing communism, all of them want to go in America.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you because I've seen the evidence.
Oh, that
of
could be
that.
right.
I've seen the evidence of
They're
that.
misleading our people.
Yeah.
They're deceiving our people. They're lying with people.
Yeah.
And they're tricking the people.
Yeah. But the point I want to make is, and I'll try to make it again, is that within America, Europe, etc., there is competing views and ideas and ideology about how the country should run. So don't think it's like, oh, America, everybody believes in President Trump, because I think about 49% of the population disagree with him.
It could be more.
Yeah.
Trump is a moron, he's disrespectful, he's unorthodox. But a lot of the things Trump stand for are in full agreement with him.
Yeah, but the United Nations was supposed to try and give us
We're
a
going to the United Nations again?
yeah, because it underpins what the gentleman
I
said.
think they're trying. Trump just walked out from the health program or what in the United Nations.
Yeah.
And Trump is saying, well, if you believe I have too much influence on you, when I don't agree with something, I'll go walk out.
Yeah, and take my money.
And take me money with me.
Yeah,
Because he said, those who pays the piper call the tune. Look at Europe.
Yeah,
And as I said before already, the war in Ukraine is basically because Ukraine agreed to give up the nuclear weapon that they have. Britain and America practically forced Ukraine
Yeah.
to give up the nuclear weapon to avoid the proliferation of nuclear weapon.
Yeah. I know.
So Britain and America have a responsibility to protect Ukraine.
Yeah.
Now you have individuals over the world, they condemning America as the worst group. In fact, you have about 10 countries in the world that hate the American. They had a table with the 10 countries that hate the American the most. Grenada don't fall in. Grenada far from it.
Yeah.
But we have a number of people in Grenada that is propagating hate against the Americans. And while they're doing it, they want to stay in America. They want their children to stay in America.
Yeah. Well, it's a
And Grenadians want them to lead them.
it's a great contradiction.
So we must prepare to stand the consequences of our love-hate relationship with America.
Yeah, but the problem appears to be this: people want a sense of fairness and justice. There's 168 countries, I think, in the world. Now, what these countries believe is that America, in terms of its leadership, has not been fair.
So which country they suggesting to lead? Russia?
Well,
China?
they are not suggesting any one country.
Africa have 50-something countries.
Yeah.
African countries don't have veto power. There are about 5 countries that have veto power.
Yeah, 54 countries, I think they say in
And 5
Africa.
countries in the world have veto power.
Yeah, but
Russia,
yeah,
China, America,
France,
and Britain
yeah, and Britain.
that have veto power.
Yeah,
The Africans complaining Africa is not one country.
yeah,
Africa is 54 countries.
yeah. But
You give them veto power then.
yeah. No, they want to give India veto power.
Well, India could ask for veto power.
Yeah, it's one.
But not Africa. Africa have 54 countries, 1.6 billion people. You have 54 countries.
Yeah,
You can behave yourself.
yeah, and in India,
1.6,
1.4,
1.45.
Yeah.
And China 1.5, 1.6.
Yeah, 1.4, 1.5
But
as
in
well.
Africa, it's 54 countries.
Yeah, I don't want to divert too much from it, but I'll say this on Africa. Many of the thinkers that think about growth and development in terms of a country are saying Africa will not really claim its place in development unless it unites as a
How you going to unite when you want to sell one another, you want to eat one another?
unite as
You see the Hutsis and the Tutsis?
as a continent.
Ghana just exported some immigrants. Yes, scholar, welcome.
Yes, good morning once again.
Yes, my brother, welcome.
Now, the conversation. People don't hate America, you know. People love America, but they hate the behavior of America. And if you follow history way back from the 15th century, come right back, or maybe before, you will discover that the EU countries had been fighting the Russians and Chinese for quite some time. And Africa, they have exploited Africa. And at this point in time, they have not given up the fight because of the fear that if the African continent succeed, they will turn around and do the same thing to them. So it's not the hate for America per se.
So what
but
you going to
it's
call
behavior.
it? What you going to call it?
Because
If they love America and they don't love something, you have to be it.
Well, yes, it's a love-hate. It's a love-hate. But there is reason for that. Because America is a country that any part of the world you hear a little fire, it's America starting it. They provoke countries, and countries have responded. And
That's a strong statement.
The arms race that we see there is countries are protecting themselves from the Americans because they have armed themselves to the teeth. And that's what they're trying to get away from. In case they attack them, then they're well prepared. But you make a very important statement there with respect to our people. Yes, what do we have to export to Africa? And I asked this question many, many times. We want to join into Africa, but what we take, and this morning of conversation with Mr. Samuel Joseph, what do we take to Africa as a product? And what do we bring from Africa here to sell? And how do you balance those things? Now, in terms of our ability, our leaders let us down. We have bright people, but we're stuck in theory. We are not practicalizing the knowledge which we have. We have to explore science. We must explore science to get to technology. So could we make a radio in Grenada? Could we make a bicycle in Grenada? We can't do those things because we are not exploring our potential. We have the potential, but we're not using our mind to create. And our leaders are not telling us what they want us to do to shift the economy. That's put us in a better position. Now, when the Americans will say, look, we want a new weapon to counter the Russians XYZ. They direct the scientists. This is what we want. We want to supersede this unit that the Russians have. And the scientists are going to go on the drawing board, using the minds, the creativity, and come up with something. Are we challenging our scientists here? Are we challenging our bright people here to do those things? Tell us what we want for the agricultural sector. We have to import everything. So we have to get into the creativity of science. Bring our scientific mind to bear so we could create our own technology. For instance, let me tell you something. JCB, that we call JCB here, is created by John C. Bonald. Mr. Joshua might understand that, might know that. John C. Bonald of Britain is the creator of the JCB machine. Now, he took a machine, right, from another manufacturer and upgraded to create that versatile piece of equipment that he owns under his trade name. Are we doing this? We can take any vehicle here, any equipment here, and create what we want from what they produce. That is where we have to set the mind of our citizens, but our leaders are not pushing our people to that area.
Yeah.
And so we have failed and continue to fail. And how do you get back when our leaders, they're not thinking about that. They don't have that in their mind because they don't want our citizens to gravitate to financial fortune. And that is a no. That's a big thing. If you don't want your citizens to develop financially, then how you achieve the bigger goals? So we have a big task on our hands. And I want to say to you for the last. I wonder if Mr. Trump had 1.4 billion people to manage like China and the Indians, 1.6. I wonder if he will be behaving the same way as his 4 million people. 400 million. I wonder how he will behave. So it's a different mindset you have to have. Mr. Bush said, when he overthrew Iraq, he turned around in his own voice and said, the only person who could have managed Iraq was Saddam Hussein. This large population are not easy to handle. So when you have a small population, you might be able to do anything. But when you get into the large population and you have to think for 1.5 million people, sometimes you have to be repressive to stay afloat. So the Chinese government is running the country the way it ought to be run. Other than that, if they manage like us here, trust me, it's going to be chaos. The population is too small.
Yes, scholar, thank you.
Have a good show.
You could ask the same question with
Thank
China.
you.
Could China have managed as Bush if they had the freedom of the press that America have? You could ask the same question. You could ask the same question in Grenada,
Yeah.
The revolution tried 4.5 years experiment. They lock up about 5,000 people. They castrate people, they execute people, they rape people, they walk on the back of women. They shut down the press, and they fail. United States of America is the most cosmopolitan country in the world, is the most welcoming country in the world to foreigners, and people have an opportunity to make it in America.
Yeah.
Japan have about 100 and something million people. Japan needs people, but Japan hardly want to take on people.
No,
Russia
Yeah.
hardly want to welcome people.
But the
China
Japanese
is not welcoming to people.
The Japanese stopped making babies. That's the problem in Japan.
Well, of course, China give limit on how much children you could make too. And they do that because They do, because you don't have freedom of expression, they silence the church. Look at Grenada here. We want to legalize abortion.
Yeah.
We want to pass laws so 12-year-old, we abandon morality.
Yeah.
In small countries like ours, if you take away the freedom and rights of the people, you will be enslaved.
Yeah, but
You will be enslaved by leaders who are regurgitators, who trying to implement China policy in Grenada.
yeah, but Mr. Perry, you have to agree that with all our freedoms and freedom of the press and freedom of this and all that, it does not appear to have worked for us.
What happened to you, man? You
No.
crazy, man.
Let me finish.
You want to tell me that freedom don't work for me?
Let me.
If I was in China, I'd be in jail, I'd dead.
Yeah.
If I was in any one of the communist country, me and my family would be wiped from the face of this earth.
Yeah. So
We spent 4.5 years in the revolution. The revolution not get scholarship to go away. We stayed here, but the revolution would not have given you a scholarship to go away.
So those are not the only kind of systems in the world. So
We have a system where we're dealing with the love-hate relationship with America.
yeah, and
Our leaders must not deceive our people.
yeah, but the point I'm trying to make is that with all these freedoms that we have,
We don't have value for it.
we have not seemed to
Compare us with the Cubans.
The-
Compare Grenada.
yeah,
The development in Grenada, Barbados, any one of the country, compare it with the Cubans and see.
yeah. So we've not appeared to develop our
not appeared.
our society.
So what development you want?
We want technology.
What you want with the technology?
In terms of in agriculture, in terms of
Where is the Cuban agriculture?
well, we're not comparing with Cuba.
Well, Cuba is the only model you could compare with. Because throughout the Caribbean, the Caribbean have, almost all of them have the democratic process and a relatively sense of freedom. You could lie down home and sleep all day if you want to sleep. You may not be able to eat.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is that with all these freedoms and all these systems, our country, in terms of development, is not really developing
Well,
at the pace.
you have to see which country. It has to be China, Iran, Russia, or Cuba in the Caribbean. They are the ones that practicing the communist countries the most.
Yeah, but
And you don't have right.
Yeah.
Which one better than us?
yeah, I'm not.
Russia have more,
Yeah, I'm talking.
send more people in the Siberia,
Yeah.
and they have more nuclear weapons.
Yeah, I'm talking about development as opposed to political system. So, Cuba, and I don't know that much about it, but I know it's
Cuba advancing in medical health.
Yeah, but
because they're using it as a means to circumvent the blockade and get foreign exchange.
yeah. So I know that.
But the other aspect of Cuba don't develop.
Yeah, but I know there's been tremendous sanctions on Cuba since the 60s, so it's not a good example in terms of
Well, why
comparison,
not?
And
And they don't want the freedom.
because the sanctions are illegal.
Why the sanctions is illegal? The country's at war. The man say the country's at war. They use sanctions as a means.
Yeah, and
so Cuba expect to benefit from the United States of America. You must buy Cuban goods, but they must keep the people in jail.
No.
Cuba have the people in jail. All the dissidents. That's the word they use.
Yeah.
Those who disagree with them.
Yeah,
Thousands of them are in jail
Yeah, and
without trial, without charge, without an opportunity to defend themselves.
yeah, and that is not right.
How we
in-
could agree with that?
But who's agreeing with that? That is not right.
The
in any
Caribbean
country.
leaders agree. They have not been calling to freedom. The trade unions have not been calling to freedom. And that is why I'm saying Grenadians must come to grip with the consequences of our love-hate relationship with the U.S. The U.S. has just taken a decision to put some pressure on Grenadian leaders. Grenadian leaders in terms of visa and etc. Well, Grenadian leaders could say, hell was you. That don't bother. I ain't need United States.
Yeah.
You could put blockade on me like Cuba.
So there is embargo on Grenadian leadership.
United States Senator communique, State Department,
Uh-huh.
that Grenada is one of the countries they would put visa restriction on some of the government leadership. And because of the medical health vis-a-vis relationship with Cuba. A number of the Grenadian leaders said they're prepared to give up their passport, their visa. They're not going to change their attitude towards Cuba. They're prepared to give up their passport. And I don't think they attended the meeting with...
Yeah, they didn't go.
With the meeting, they didn't go. So you practically... there's a word that they use, not shown, snub.
Yeah.
You practically snub the American ambassador. He's a heavyweight, you don't care. Maurice Bishop was beating his chest. If you touch Nicaragua, you touch Cuba, you touch Grenada. It's the same attitude that some of our leaders have in Grenada. And I call it a love-hate relationship. Because all of them want to go in America.
But doesn't it stem from the fact that countries like Grenada, Barbados, believe that they're independent and they're free? And isn't it different when you're
Is America independent and free too?
No, but
If American can't tell you what to do, you want to tell America what to do?
Yeah. So isn't it different when you're a superpower? They could tell us what to do. They can't tell you what to do.
Go and tell America what to do.
You know, and isn't that what is causing so much disruption in terms of the world order? Because
Well, go and tell America what to do. Look at China want to invade Taiwan. Why do you think China want to invade Taiwan? China is more powerful than Taiwan.
yeah, but China has never expressed their view to invade Taiwan.
Well, you have to be crazy in one ear and blind in the other. You crazy?
because
You
Taiwan.
know what you're not going on.
Yeah.
You know what you're not going
Yeah,
on.
because Taiwan is a province of China.
You don't watch you're not going on. If you're saying that statement, you don't watch
Yeah,
So let's leave out that till we better
Yeah, you know what?
inform.
You know what?
Yeah.
You know.
Even so, we always have the imperial powers who want to dictate. That has been there from ever since. Rome once colonized England for 410 years. Rome colonized England. The Vikings, a number of them, rough up England. England invade more than 100 countries when they get powerful.
So
The tendency is always there.
but it evolves though in terms of
And that is why we have to be concerned about the consequences of the love-hate relationship we have with America. Now, if our leaders hate America, you say, well, we know they hate, you prepare for the repercussions. But you majority of people in America, your majority of trade is with America. You don't have nothing to send to the people in the political ideology that you're propagating. You don't have nothing to send to China, Russia, India, or in Africa for the next 5 years. You could export cocoa, nutmeg, fish, sauce, crab, and about 50 other local products to America. You depend on the American tourists. You have the St. George's University here that contributing more than 20% of the GDP. You have to be either stupid, you either mad, or you communists block up all your brains to advocate a policy that is hostile and aggressive to America. When you could be tactful and diplomatic and able to demele without undue restriction. You have 1 minute.
Yeah, I think that was that was the mistake that was made, in the with Maurice Bishop. There was a lack of reality how the world worked with them, and I think many of the people believe Grenada was independent, but in terms of the geopolitical system, America considered it to be in its backyard. But I want to finish by saying this. Sometimes we forget the humanity and that we all part of a great humanity in the world. We are brothers and sisters. And what we should be doing is working towards getting along together and world peace so all of us could enjoy the planet.
Well, our leaders have to understand the economics, what is in our interest. It is not the personal half-baked agenda. Because all the political leaders in Grenada that pushing communism, they only like communism when they're in charge, to take advantage on people. And when the experiment fail, they're not going in communist countries. So I believe the time has come for our people to discuss the consequences of our love-hate relationship with the United States of America. Don't put your head as an ostrich. If you're going to choose leaders that is communists, Marxists, and atheists, don't expect the Americans to agree or stay silent. And we want to thank you for participating in the program today. And what we do, we just provoke discussion. So we encourage discussion. And you could disagree with us. Thank you very much.
Make use of it. Let no one challenge. Blow your shell, beat your drum, tell others. Like and share, subscribe and discuss it too. Let the world know Studio Galaxy is around. Studio Galaxy.